My name is Kalyan,
And my name is Girgano.
and this is our very first writer's vlog or monthly recap.
We're still not entirely sure how to call it, but it's another way for us to connect with you.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about what we're working on right now, as well as the movies and books and games and everything else that inspires us.
Yeah, there's a lot we want to cover, so let's just get into it.
Sure, what do you want to start with?
Let's start with movies.
All right. Now, full disclaimer, we're not planning of making review videos. We simply want to share our thoughts. And the most thought-provoking one we saw recently was Annihilation.
Yeah, that's true. Annihilation is written and directed by Alex Garland, and it stars Natalie Portman, Oscar Isaac, and a bunch of other people. I loved how original it was compared to other sci-fi movies nowadays. It looked stunning, it sounded stunning, and some of the sequences were absolutely magnificent. There was one scene in particular that was super scary.
The Screaming Bear scene?
Yeah, the screaming bear scene. It was one of the most intense and unnerving scenes that I've ever seen.
And you've
Yeah.
seen some pretty nasty shit.
Yeah, unfortunately. As for the ending, it was vague on purpose, and from what I've read, most people didn't really like it. However, it stuck with me, and I've been thinking about it a lot ever since we saw the movie. And what I took from this movie as a writer is that not everything needs to be explained, and sometimes the audience is better off without somebody holding their hand. I believe this is one of the secrets of creating a compelling mystery. So I know that your opinion about the movie is quite different, so let's just hear it.
Now, I definitely enjoyed certain aspects of the movie, and I'll admit it had tremendous potential, which was wasted in my opinion. There were a couple of nonsensical decisions, and sometimes the plot really stretched my suspension of disbelief. Perhaps my main issue is that I loved Ex Machina so much, and I expected more from Alex Garland. I've always found that Natalie Portman's head was too freakishly big for her body, but I have zero
It's
complaints
true.
about her acting in this movie. My favorite thing about Annihilation was the whole theme of humanity's urge to self-destruct individually and as a species. My main takeaway is that the story should never be compromised in order to propel the plot forward when there are other
Yeah.
alternatives. There is one particularly badly written character, and from the first minute,
Yeah, she was terrible.
yeah, she's basically there to do something stupid and die in a ridiculous way. It's
Yeah.
stuff like that that really grinds my gears. Uh, do you have anything else to add?
No, that's pretty much it. So, the other movie that we want to talk about today is The Ritual. It is based on a novel of the same name, written by Adam Neville. We saw it on Netflix and we both loved it. Good horror movies are few and so far between, but this one was a treat. I really liked the fact that the main characters were not teenagers, like dumb teenagers, but a group of average guys in their 30s. Also, the filmmakers utilized the setting perfectly because forests are creepy in general, and this one was no exception. What I loved the most was how unexpected the second part of the movie was. It would have been so easy for the filmmakers to make just another haunted forest slash Witch of the Woods kind of movie, but instead they've made something completely different. And I think that whenever you're writing a fiction, you should never settle for mediocrity, and you should always try to push the envelope.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Right.
I loved how they took a simple story and turned it into something incredible. As a writer and as a reader, I would much rather have a simple story, a simple idea executed perfectly, over a complicated idea done bad. The
Yeah.
creature design is absolutely phenomenal and is worth seeing even
Very
if the movie
scary.
was bad, which it isn't. Now, a word of advice. some of you will surely check the ratings online and wonder why they're so low when we're giving it so much praise. What you have to realize is that horror is unlike any other genre out there. It has probably hundreds of subgenres, and each one has a dedicated following. This division in the community leads to horror movies being, generally badly reviewed and having low scores, even if they're good, because supernatural horror will never please the slasher fans, and mystery won't cut it for the zombie fanatics. What I'm trying to say is that The Ritual is a terrific movie, and we highly recommend it.
Yeah, if you love horror movies, that's the perfect one for you. The funny thing is that both of those movies are based on books that we haven't read. Hopefully, we'll get to them someday, but our book powers just keep growing and growing.
So let's talk about books now.
Alright, so I just finished reading Wizard and Glass, which is the fourth book in the Dark Tower series written by Stephen King, and it is my favorite book so far. In my opinion, it may be the best book Stephen King ever wrote, and he has written quite a lot of very good books.
True.
It is essentially structured as a retrospection, a story within a story. And this is usually incredibly hard to pull off, but Stephen King does it effortlessly. What was most surprising to me is that it is essentially a love story and it is beautiful. King proves once again that he is much more than just the master of horror in this book. And the love story he tells is not sweet nor sentimental. It is also so much more than a typical romance with a damsel in distress and a hero that saves her, which is so boring. Yeah, in fact, the main heroine, Susan Delgado, is just as fierce as Roland, who is the protagonist, and in my opinion, he is one of the strongest male characters in fiction. Actually, all of the characters in this book are very well fleshed out and feel like living, breathing people. And actually, this book really showed me the importance of good character development and how it elevates the story.
Yeah, I completely agree. What really bothers me is how much the term world building is thrown around nowadays. I think it's a symptom of how Hollywood has been overtaken by concept artists. We all talk about how much we love the universe of Star Wars or Middle Earth, but we forget that we first fell in love with the characters that showed us around. And a lot of new writers and directors fall into this trap of focusing on making their world unique and interesting without making the characters engaging and relatable. I read the entire Dark Tower series last summer, and there's almost no so-called world building until the last three books, which are also the weakest for me. Case in point, the only character I liked from the original cast of the main story is Roland. And even though I didn't identify with the others, Eddie, Susanna, and Jake, I still cared about them very much because they were believable characters, put in nail-biting situations. As for this specific book, it is definitely one of the high points of the series, along with The Wind Through the Keyhole. The Dark Tower collection were the first book I read with the explicit intention of analyzing their strengths and weaknesses, and it has had a profound impact on my own writing ever since.
I still haven't finished it, but I understand what you mean. It has really taught me a lot, and I'm already applying these lessons in my work. Speaking of which, I just started writing the sixth part of the Neighborhood series, and what started as a short story inspired by our actual neighbors has almost evolved into a novel at this point, and I am really excited about it, and I can't wait to see where the story will take me.
Me neither. Seeing your ideas grow as your writing style matures has been an absolute delight, which I can say about my own erratic progress. I'm currently focused on editing our earlier content that we've written since 2014, and it's a monumental task which takes most of my time. Do you think we should wrap things up?
Yeah, I guess we should. We hope to make such videos at least once a month. So please let us know what you would like us to focus on in the future, beyond hope, or our other projects, our personal approach to writing, or our thoughts on about movies, books, and video games. We would definitely love to hear your suggestions, and we would also love to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, also, please follow us on social media. The links are in the description below. We publish everything we write for free, and if you like it, please join our Patreon and receive exclusive rewards. Thanks for watching.
Bye!
Bye!